Hey everybody, Crash here, DM for this campaign. If you're watching this, just a heads up, we did not record these sessions or stream them. So episodes 1 through 23 are just summed up by me and the players of Bubbles, Claximus, and Analura as we sort of look back at the beginning of the campaign in those early episodes and try our best to remember what happened and provide some kind of context for what happened in the earlier days of the campaign. So they're short, they're sweet, I hope, and they help sort of establish the history of the campaign that has spanned 2 years and over 100 sessions. So hope you enjoy. So the Rickety Squibs arc was the beginning of the official book 2 for Skull Shackles, and this is where I learned what squibbing was, because I've learned so much about pirates from this campaign. The only real research I did for this campaign was I watched Black Flag. If you haven't seen that show, it's amazing. You should watch it. So, but that was it. I thought about watching One Piece, and then I found out there was like 800 episodes at the time, or something like that. So I was like, yeah, nah, that's fine. I'll just watch this Black Flag instead. So the early campaign was heavily influenced by traditional pirate low magic stuff, but this being Dungeons and Dragons, we would soon leave all that behind. But in the beginning, when you stole a ship, you needed to squib the ship. You needed to change the way the ship looked, or people would know that you stole the ship, and you would be accused of stealing the ship, and then there would be complications, and you have to kill a bunch of people. So squibbing a ship is where you change the shape of the ship, and the outline of the ship, and the lean of the ship. You do all these things to make one ship look like another. I think the way I described it to you guys was Grand Theft Auto. I stole a car, I drive into the spray and pay, and then I drive out with different plates and a different paint job. So you're basically doing that to Man's Promise. According to Analura's journal, with a ton of effort and planning, we managed to sail our boat and tow it to the port of Rickety Squibs. This was a huge challenge as we did not have nearly enough people to cover each position. Sandara's magical boat hat came in clutch to help us out. The good old boat hat. I think it's still around to this day. Rickety Squibs is a pirate port filled with scum. Bubbles took to represent our crew as Zalnos continued to sulk in his quarters. This is when we started to have some attendance issues from Zalnos as well. We managed to negotiate a price to squib our ship, but it costed most of our treasure. We worked out a deal and were told that it would be completed after a week. As we were resting and enjoying our downtime, a pirate babe who was bathing in dirty-ass river was attacked by a naga. We ran to her aid and managed to save her life before she was killed. In the process, Bubbles became charmed by the naga and attacked us in return. We dropped him quickly without much remorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Any comments on session 13?
Yeah. The we dropped Bubbles very quickly without much remorse becomes a repeated theme throughout the entire.
Sometimes
That was a
you
rough
just gotta let it
fight.
down.
That Naga was a rough fight.
Yeah.
Also, that Naga had an entire side adventure that no one explored.
Yeah. Fuck that. We didn't
Yep.
want anything to do with that
Yep.
fucking Naga.
The Naga fled. There was all sorts of issues with like the river, and like the island was having a drought, and you guys were like, "We're just waiting for our goddamn ship."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at this point, we had kind of worked out where we were gonna fall in the crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like we like kind of we talked about in the earlier sessions is that you would have like all these roles that you would do as basic bits pirates, but now that we've taken over the fucking boat, well, you're taking more officer roles, which kind of continues on into the future. So Zaldos had been promoted to captain, which is why when he told everybody to do whatever they wanted,
Yeah.
everybody started fucking murdering each other, which was very demoralizing for him. I believe I was vice captain. Like he put me.
You know that's just called It's just called something else.
He was
First
knight
mate.
captain. He was knight captain.
I was night capped. I don't think I was night capped. I think because that was before we had worked out like night crew and day crew.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Clax was enforcer. Analura, I don't remember what you were.
She was medical officer.
Okay. Yep. And then I also don't remember what Squall was. I think Squall was.
I think Squall was made
Scout?
quartermaster, right?
Oh yeah, maybe
Quartermaster. Yeah, that was the other weird one.
Well,
So we had
and then this leads into session 14. While you're waiting for the ship to be squibbed, you needed to recruit crew, which people would come to Rickety Squibs Island to be hired as pirates. So that was the whole thing. I kind of thought, and this is where a bad precedent, or a good precedent, I'm not sure, was set for the whole campaign. You actually conducted interviews with all of your candidates.
We took most of them, too.
And so I ended up having to roleplay just a series of potential NPCs, some of which didn't even get kept for the game. Which was a whole deal. Let me see if we got the Rickety Squibs Map. It's the same as Shantytown, but I flipped it. That's right.
Because there was two places we could go to. So that's something else about Rickety Squibs. So Rickety Squibs was like the good guy port. Like that's where you would go if you wanted to be like privateers. And then Shantytown was there if you wanted to be slavers. You could go, right? So we made the decision we aren't going to be bad guys, which we threw away pretty quickly. But that was our original goal, was not to be bad guys. So we went to Rickety Squibs.
Let me see. I got Rickety Squibs RS? Nah, I must have archived that one too. Oh well.
The thing with Rickety Squibs though is it was still shady as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even the good guys of the Shackles are barely good guys.
Was that the place that we got in that fucking fight with that one dude?
Yeah, well here's where we're going with this. Session 14. Well fuck, according to Analura's journal. We pulled Bubbles to shore, made sure that he was safe. In the process, Zolnos got off the ship and began to interact with us again. We decided that we needed to recruit a few more crew members, and we needed to decide on a name for our ship because they were going to put it on the ship while they were squibbing it. We had a bunch of great ideas for names, but we could not decide. So we decided to leave it up to fate, and we placed all the choices into Sandara's hats. The choices for the ship were Fortune favors the Kobold, the Raging Monkey, the Handsome Gale, the Maw of Souls, and the best of all, Besmara's Bosom. Fate decided to give us Fortune favors the Kobold, but we all agreed to just vote for the name instead. Diodario warned us not to go against fate, and we didn't listen to him, because his choice was to call our boat D's Nuts Adario. Damn, was that really his suggestion?
Yes, I fucking forgot about D's Nuts Adario.
That's fucking amazing. Why doesn't he have a boat named D's Nuts Adario yet? Oh my god.
He will. And I'm also, now that I remembered the Raging Monkey, the fucking next ship is totally named the Raging Monkey.
Oh man. So we ended up with 3 votes for the Raging Monkey, Squall, Bubbles, and Zolnos, and 3 votes for Besmara's Bosom, Claximus, Analura, and Sandara. We decided instead of a coin flip, we should duke it out to see which name would be the best. So we had a battle in the middle of town, and it became quite a spectacle. We were all having some friendly competition, showing off our skills, when Zolnos decided to cast a spell to influence our minds. Sandara snapped, not being a fan of mind control, and blamed their fateful night together as a result of Zolnos' spell. Which was never confirmed, whether or not there was a Bill Cosby incident with Zolnos and Sandara. I'm going to say, officially, there was not. They were both just drunk and caught up in the heat of passion. However, the two of them had some tension between them still going. This was all in good fun, right? Bubbles was taken down early, and everything was looking great for Besmara's Bosom. Then, in a crazy turn of events, Sandara shot this bright ball of light at Zolnos, shouting, I'm going to paraphrase here, I cast Guiding Bolt at the 2nd level. and completely blew his head off. This was the lovely critical hit cards rearing their ugly, ugly head
Wasn't it 4
again.
times damage?
4 times damage. He died from like ultimate massive damage. His head was completely ruptured, like a watermelon at a Gallagher show. It was just done. This dude was having some issues IRL. He finally made it to a session, and he got fucking iced in a friendly PvP match by a beloved NPC.
Yeah, and so with this too, Crashgem, being the nice dungeon master he is like, I'm gonna walk it back. In 5 players, including Zaldos' player, we're like, let that shit lie. He's
Yeah.
dead.
I was like, I never like to rewind games, but I should not have let an NPC vote on your ship name. NPC should not have voted. There never should have been a tie. I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened. You shouldn't get killed by an NPC. This is a terrible way to go. But everybody was like, no, it happened. We're gonna live with it. Yeah. Yeah. Needless to say, Besmara's bosom won the battle. But Sandara was in despair. We only intended this to be good fun, but now we've killed another captain. Bubbles had no choice but to take the mantle now, but everyone in Rickety Squibs saw us do that. We gave Zalnos a burial at sea and took this incident to heart. That's also where yet another badass Warlock patron side quest that I wrote got thrown in the trash can. Because Zalnos had actually made a deal with the same demon that the lizard folk had made a deal with back on the derelict ship, and we never got to see where the fuck that went. So I threw that in the trash can. The next day, we recruited new crew members. Of these new crew members was one odd Rahadumi, which I reskinned the Rahadumi people to not be magical desert-dwelling people, but magical desert-dwelling tabaxi. Get woke. And he claims he walked down the river to find us. He was actually from the Rahadumi Tabaxi tribe that lived on the island that was suffering from a terrible drought related to the Nagas. You know, the adventure you guys never went on, that adventure that I keep mentioning. Yeah. So we don't know how useful he will be to us. Spoiler, not very useful. But I guess only time will tell.
So
Yes, that was Drifting Plume.
at this
Which
point,
was-
Yeah. Drifting Plume, where's he at? Oh, there he is. He's down here.
That was
I forgot about
Zolnos' new character.
yeah. Now with that though, right? We did settle on a name. It became the Bumbling Bosom.
In memory of Zalnos, the Blue Bumbler and Besmara's bosom, you ended up calling it the Bumbling Bosom, which honestly was an amazing name for a ship. So, I think it was an amazing ship for a ship. It was good stuff. Here, I'll just move everybody to the top of Diodario's skull. There we go. Oh man, Mr. Pluggers, sweet. Guess crew can come hang out over here. Where's Bubbles? Oh, Bubbles is huge. Never mind. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Squall. Squall's around here somewhere. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a wild episode. Everybody was pretty shook after that. That brought us into session 15, Insecticide. Analura actually wrote a lot about this one. Wowee, you wrote like a whole book on this one.
A lot happened in that one.
Wow. Okay. I must have done a lot of theater of the mind for this one. Alright, per Analura, session 15, Insecticide. As we concluded our impromptu meeting with the old and new crew, several bells around Rickety Squibs began to ring. We ran outside to check on the commotion to discover a Chelish warship making its way into port. Confusion was the general consensus, and no one really knew what was going on. On board the ship was a blue-skinned, massive hobgoblin named Captain Merrill Pegsworthy. This was actually per the written adventure. We soon discovered that Captain Pegsworthy had taken down a Chelish warship. This is also seeding the Chelish storyline that is still going on to this day, but very much in the background. We soon discovered that Captain Pegsworthy had taken out a Chelish warship and was taking it to Rickety Squibs so it could get outfitted. Since our ship arrived first, though, they would have to wait until ours was finished before work could start on the ship formerly known as the Strix. Rickety Hake informed us that Captain Pegsworthy is a free captain, which introduced the concept of free captains to the campaign, I believe. This is the title bestowed only to those captains recognized by the Hurricane King, Kurdak Bonefist, introducing the BBEG, himself. We knew at this moment not to mess with him or his crew. We tried our best to keep to ourselves, but Pegsworthy came to approach our new captain, Bubbles. Bubbles handled the situation well and began to establish a form of camaraderie with Pegsworthy. In any case, it did not seem like they wanted to mess with us while we're on shore. We then took time to discuss our plans after Firegrass Island, discussing known locations and rumors that we had heard. Claximus attempted to engage in gladiatorial combat with one of Pegsworthy's crew, a female hobgoblin with a massive greatsword. In a stunning display, the hobgoblin downed Claximus in a single round with 3 massive strikes, forcing him to surrender. Well, that was rough. Nevertheless, they bonded over some drink, and the night was young for revelry. The next morning, we were approached by one of Rickety Hake's Genasi bodyguards, who asked us to go on a short reconnaissance mission to the watchtower south of the port. A man named Lyle Godwin lives in the watchtower, and he usually sends messages back and forth via a parrot named Rotguts, who I think is still with one of your crews to this day. Since yesterday morning, however, no word has come from Lyle. He's told us that one of Pegsworthy's men, a goblin named Middleton, had gone south towards the watchtower and is also now missing. We were to keep things discreet and find out what happened to Lyle and Middleton, leaving Squall behind as he was vomiting his entire night's worth of drinks. We brought the new recruit Drifting Plume with us. We went to the jungle and eventually found the body of Middleton, stung in many places by wasps, giant wasps. 12 of them came out and attacked us. Claximus actually went down to these massive insects. It's a rough session for Claximus. I reached into my satchel and pulled out my new experimental bug spray, and I couldn't believe it worked wonders. Plume, Bubbles, and I fought to dispatch the wasps one by one as Sandara provided support. I melted down bug after bug, just showing how effective my formula is. After the wasps were dispatched, and none were left to wander, we revived Claximus and continued south to the watchtower. We sent the new guy to check out the surroundings, and he reported Lyle's body on the floor underneath his hammock. Thorough investigation revealed that he had been attacked by the wasps just like Middleton. Plume noticed how the wasps usually stay native to the north. It's weird that they traveled this far south. This is again part of the adventure you skipped that had to do with the weird drought that was afflicting the island, but whatever. Claximus seemed to think that this means there might be a bigger predator out there that is forcing all these Nagas and wasps to relocate. In the tower, I found a magical morning star belonging to Lyle, and we secured his parrot, Rotguts. We traveled back to Rickety Squibs via Sandara's boat. We told Rickety Hake the situation. He was very glad to see how we handled everything and allowed us to keep the morning star. He told us that our ship would be complete by the next evening, as we went to celebrate a good day's work complete. Pegsworthy approached Bubbles and asked if he could join us in christening the new ship. Bubbles agreed. We completed some last-minute shopping before our ship was ready to sail. Pegsworthy, Hake, and all of our crew came to christen the ship to wish us good fortune on our way to Firegrass Island. All in all, it was a peaceful evening with a lot of drinking and entertainment. I managed to sell some of my new bug spray to the locals as well, and the money to purchase a new longbow and attune to the brace of archery. This will come in handy. We ended up divvying up the ship's quarters and preparing our first proper voyage across the Shackles. Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, fuck.
Yeah, that was a packed session.
Yeah.
I think that was also the session where like Analura walked in on Sandara, and Sandara was like whipping herself because she was like distraught. Yeah, over the death of like Zaldos. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Yeah, there was a lot of good scenes in that. That was only a 3-hour session. That's crazy.
I know. No, that was back when they were 4.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, how did we pack so much into that session?
This also was the first time devil fruits were introduced.
Oh, because Pegsworthy had a devil fruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
He also had a ring of swimming.
He had a ring of swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we learned about them for the first time.
Pegsworthy also was like, you gotta keep these people in fucking shape. You gotta rule with an iron fist, and yeah, he went into it.
Oh yeah, he was like mentor pirate. It was like the first pirate you met that wasn't just trying to kill you, enslave you, or abuse you.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, he might have done that later, but we're not talking about that. Yeah, okay.
I like Pegsworthy. Pegsworthy's a good guy.
Yeah, that was good stuff. There was a lot going on there.
I guess this was also when Analura started becoming an archer.
Oh, that was the archer. Yeah, that was the archer arc. Yeah.
Yeah, she did so much damage that she stopped, threw away the
Analura
bow.
is like Madonna. You know what I'm saying? Like constantly redefining her brand and her look and her style. This was the Archer time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After this, she went to healing
Yep.
for a while.
This is also, I believe, when we received official word from Squall's player that he was not going to be able to continue. His Thursday nights were compromised by a change in management. I guess he got a fancy manager job at the restaurant that he worked at, and he would no longer be able to play with us. What is heartwarming is to this day he still watches you guys VODs every week.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
to keep up on the
Oh,
campaign.
man.
Yeah, so he knows what you did to him later on. So
Well, we
Yeah.
didn't do nothing bad to
yeah,
Squall.
I mean, he basically retired to paradise. So
Yeah. Fuck, man, I was thinking about retiring there. You know what I mean?
So this is where we had a guest player as the next session. Session 16, Devil Shark. I was like, I guess I could have a guest player because we're down so many people. Sure. So this is where you were traveling in your brand new ship from Rickety Squibs to Firegrass Island. Firegrass Island is one of the only quote-unquote good guy towns in all of the Shackles. They believe in freedom. Freedom above all things. So, not that they're chaotic good, they are chaotic neutral. But they were better off than a lot of your other choices. I think the other town you could have gone to if you wanted to be good guys was Lilywhite, but it was quite a distance away. So you guys were like, Firegrass will do. Which the adventure predicted. So you go to Firegrass, and let's see, per Analura, Session 16, Devil Shark. Our first voyage on the bumbling bosom began with us heading towards Firegrass Island. The sky was dark, and many of the crew descended below decks to rest, while the night crew took over the first shift. We sailed a number of hours with Phipps at the helm and Shivaka on lookout with Plume's assistance. Lillian Nash was working. This is the Fire Genasi, Lillian Nash, I believe. There she is. Lillian Seafarer Nash. What a nickname for a pirate. Like, everybody's a seafarer. Whatever. Let's see. Lillian Nash was working the sails. Everything was going smoothly until Phipps ran over a large pile of dolphin-like bodies floating in the open ocean. The slight jostle happened at the end of my trance, and I began to wake myself. Moments later, I felt the ship begin to turn as we started heading southeast instead of our intended west. I decided to head up the deck and find out what Phipps was doing. As I made my way upstairs, I caught a whiff of an old but nostalgic scent. The scent of a relicarth. It had been at least 80 years since I got a whiff of one. By the time I got to the deck, there appeared to be a slight panic as a massive relicarth covered in seaweed was on board the ship. Plume and Phipps Shumlet were holding their ground as the creature simply stood there, not much minding the scratch laid upon it. I told the crew to stand down and began speaking to the creature in Aquan. His name was Gong Gong. I remember Gong Gong. Where's Gong Gong at? There he is. There's Gong Gong. Yeah! Basically just a deep sea Sahaugan. But like not a Sahaugan, a deep sea Kuatoa, I think.
Isn't he still with us?
He's on one of the ships. Yeah. He's on one of the ships. I thought you guys would have returned him to his people in the Analura arc. I had the whole thing planned out for it. And then I don't think he got taken on that mission. No. Yeah. So he never made it back to his people. Big spoiler there. Let's see. I yelled to wake the captain. Wait. Sorry. His name is Gong Gong, and his hunting party was attacked by a band of Sahaugan. Those nasty, vile parasites that dwell wherever the hell they can. He warned us of the attack when suddenly a giant shark with a number of shitters. Man, Analura, in your diary, you are a potty mouth. A giant shark with a number of shitters emerged from the depths and began charging at us. I yelled to wake the captain and instructed the crew to prepare for battle. 3 more giant sharks with Sahaugan appeared, and they surrounded us on all sides. As they charged into attack, Gong Gong came to our aid and helped us defend the ship. He went into a fury, just like Claximus, and he struck down one after the other with the help of Lillian Nash. Captain Bubbles received assistance from Plume, Shivaka, and Deadeye's Tempest. while Phipps was instructed to turn our ship around and get us sailing. In the meantime, I was jumped by 3 Sahagin. I valiantly fought them off, killing them one at a time, without the help of anyone whatsoever. I commanded whoever was available to start waking up crew members and fetch Sandara as the Sahagin began to overwhelm our measly night crew members. As the battle raged on, a gargantuan shark larger than our ship emerged behind us in the open water and began chasing us at tremendous speed. A massive war party of Sahagin rode its back. As it got even closer with Captain Bubbles' encouragement and kind words, Phipps Chumlet rode a path of inspiration and started to sail faster and faster. I remember this now. We eventually managed to clean up the rest of the Sahagin, but the captain went down during the fight. Analura, do you mention every time the captain goes down in your journal?
You just assume it's every fucking week.
God. With some quick thinking, I continued to inspire Phipps to pilot the boat. He did not need to know that Bubbles was dying behind him. Phipps eventually managed to pull away from the Devil Shark, and we barraged it with ranged attacks to keep it at bay. We were hitting tremendous speeds, and it looked like we would have no problems getting away. Claximus arrived on deck to help with the mainsails and to help command the night crew. Sandara eventually got her naked ass up top to heal Bubbles before running back downstairs. I told the crew to keep quiet and told the captain that we had downed the massive shark. This would be a tale for the ages. With most of the crew now awake after the massive bloodbath and no one on our side dying, they worked throughout the rest of the night to bring us to port at Goat's Head, the main city of Firegrass Island. I cooked them up a fantastic Sahagin stew. This is when cannibalism really took off in the campaign. Upon our arrival, Captain Bubbles addressed the ship, telling them that anyone who wanted to could leave. Many of the crew swore allegiance to our captain, with only Winston the Boar Nash and Winthrop the Bear Withers leaving. Oh, and that little fucker Patches came back momentarily before he tossed himself off the gangplank while calling himself a killing machine. As we settled on our arrival, the captain and officers began to work out a new set of rules for the crew to follow. While there were many questions, I believe in the end it should be accepted that whatever the captain decides is final. And thus ends the Rickety Squibs arc, which would then begin the Firegrass Island arc. Wow! These are some thorough-ass notes. Laura, take some DM inspiration. Oh my god.
Fucking,
yeah. Wow. Just fill it up. Just fill up the tank. Just fill up the tank.